The tight end position drives fantasy managers crazy, but week one is where we find out who you can actually trust. Here are the tight end rankings to get you started for week one. What's going on, Headliner Nation? My name is Brad Chandler, the Rankings King, and today we are breaking down our top 15 tight ends for week one of fantasy football. Now, just a reminder, these are consensus rankings between Jake and Kyle to get you the very best insight. And every single week, we're going to be posting quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end rankings right here on the channel. But if you find yourself wanting more, be sure to become a channel member by hitting that join button just below the video. Members also get kicker, defense, and flex rankings that you don't want to miss. Plus, it gets you in our Discord, which is the next level. So let's jump into tier one. We've got Brock Bowers, George Kittle, and Trey McBride. Number one is Brock Bowers. And really, this is all about the volume and probably will be for most of the season. There's a few options in Vegas like Thornton, Myers, but Bowers is the best option for Geno here. Coming in at number two, we've got George Kittle. And to be honest, there's no real wrong answer in tier one of the tight end rankings. It's basically just Kittle and Pearsall in the passing game for the 49ers right now. So you have to expect a higher target share. And then number three, we've got Trey McBride, and he's kind of the tight end 1C this week. Arizona didn't add any offensive weapons, and we don't even know if they will truly use Marv more this season. So the one constant is that we're going to get a lot of Trey McBride in a good matchup against New Orleans. All right, so let's jump into tier number two. We've got TJ Hawkinson, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, Mark Andrews, Sam Laporta, and Travis Swift-Kelce. At number four, TJ Hawkinson, he's going against the Chicago Bears. And with Jordan Addison suspended and Thielen just getting back in town, we could see more Hawk this week into what could easily turn into a shootout. How about David Njoku? There are a lot of limited weapons in Cleveland, and this Cincinnati offense will be one of the best in football. If Cleveland falls behind early and has to throw a lot, that's going to benefit Njoku since their only other option is really Jerry Jeudy. And then we've got Evan Ingram in a matchup against the Tennessee Titans. As potentially the second receiving option in Denver, you have to think that Ingram gets an immediate chance in the season opener. He looked great this offseason, and head coach Sean Payton will try to work more tight end magic. Coming in at number seven, we have Mark Andrews. And the last time we saw Andrews play the Bills, it was in the playoffs, and he dropped that brutal 2-point conversion pass that could have forced overtime. You have to think that the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are going to give him a chance to regain his confidence. At number eight, we've got Sam Laporta. And the biggest issue with Laporta is just that there's so many weapons on offense. And now there's another one in the mix with Isaac Tesla who could take away some red zone looks. So it's just going to be hard to get consistent volume from him. Rounding out tier number two, we have Travis Swift-Kelce. With the suspension to Rashee Rice, that's going to give Kelce more looks to start the season. Now, Kansas City still has Worthy, Hollywood, Juju, and Tyquan Thornton, but Kelce should be the underneath guy to keep the chains moving. Before we jump into the rest of the tiers, let me ask you a question. Do you have an account on Underdog? Because we're going to be dominating those player pick'ems this year, and now is the time that you need to sign up. Head over to Underdog Fantasy or download the app, create a new account, and use the code HEADLINERS when you do so. Then just make your initial deposit and come join a contest. You're also going to get a first-time deposit bonus and a free player pick'em. And Jake is also going to be breaking down the best picks weekly in a show on Fridays. Links to join are in the description, and we look forward to playing with you in 2025. All right, let's move into tier number three, and we've got Tucker Kraft, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Warren, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz, and Dalton Kincaid. So let's start with Tucker Kraft. With the addition of Matthew Golden to go along with Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks, it's going to be hard to find a bunch of weekly targets for Kraft. More than likely, he's going to be pretty touchdown dependent all season. Then we've got Kyle Pitts. And I know everybody hates Kyle Pitts, but did you know that he only missed out on being a top 12 tight end last season by 100 yards and 1 touchdown? Plus, his 2 best games of the 2024 season came against these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's always offense in this game. Then we've got Tyler Warren, and he would be all the way up around tight end 7 if Daniel Jones wasn't his quarterback. Now, Miami could have a late lead, forcing more throwing, though that's why he stays in the top 12. And then we've got Hunter Henry. Now, a lot of people will remember him being pretty solid in 2024, but the Patriots also added Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Efton Chisholm to go along with Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte. That makes Henry more safe than the ceiling. And then number 14, we've got Zach Ertz. Ertz was another one of those safe and solid options from last year, and he could easily be that as well this year. Now, Washington did add Deebo Samuel, so Ertz could see a slight dip in targets, but remain right here as a Verge tight end 1 option. And then you've got Dalton Kincaid. He wasn't healthy last year, but was pretty efficient. He just needs more targets, and that's going to be a hard thing with guys like Palmer and Coleman and Shakir and Samuel and more in the mix. Plus, they have Dawson Knox at tight end as well. Lots of competition. All right, so there's your top 15, and here's a few of the names just outside of the cut this week. We've got Dallas Goedert, Brenton Strange, Jake Ferguson, Jonnu Smith, Colston Loveland, and Mason Taylor. And so that's your week 1 tight end rankings. Who is the tight end that you trust the most this week, and who feels like a trap? Hey, drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end rankings all season long. We're going to be answering questions in the comments, so feel free to drop your questions there, and we'll get to it the best we can. Headliner Nation, don't forget to set those lineups. Let's go week 1. Let's turn up.
Analytics off the chain, all the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game.